Okay, let me share the screen. Does that give you the full view or the back view?
It's showing next slide and notes.
Okay. Let me try that again. Then yeah, it's still not showing you the right screen, is it?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to share a screen then instead of the PowerPoint. Hi, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're just working through some minor technical details. Get started. Okay.
That looks great.
Hooray.
Ding.
Yay. Okay. Well, I think that we're at 7:02, so we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. You are in the summer student insight session called Campus and Beyond, Navigating Travel and Transportation. And my name is Abby Blything. I am the Sustainable Transportation Program Manager here at UVM in the Office of Sustainability. And I will let Casey say hello as well.
Hi, I'm Corey Anderson. I am the Customer Service Supervisor here at Transportation and Parking Services. So if you pop into the office, it's my team that you're dealing with.
Great. Okay. So tonight we'll be covering a variety of topics around transportation and parking. First, we'll cover regional transportation options that are available to students, and we'll jump into the longer distance options after that, and then finish up with parking on campus. So let's start with the Green Mountain Transit buses. These buses are regional buses that are free to all UVM students. They're a really great way to not only get around Burlington, but the greater Burlington area and even into Northeast Vermont. There are 4 different lines that run through campus. They're very safe, they're very clean, and they connect to key destinations, including our downtown, the waterfront, the airport, 2 Amtrak stations we have, the Vermonter and the Ethan Allen, many restaurants and shops. And the great thing is that the university covers all fares, so students ride completely free. And in order to ride the bus free, you must show your CAT card, which is your student ID. We will be migrating that to an app sometime this year, but when we get to that point, we'll make sure to communicate what that looks like. But for now, you're just flashing your student ID to ride these buses. This is showing you both, the one on the right is sort of blown up of the local system that Green Mountain Transit runs. So you can see on the map the 2 Amtrak stations. The airport is also noted on there. You'll see the University of Vermont. So it's a pretty robust bus system for a small city. And then, of course, on the left, you can see that you can get outside of Burlington on this bus system, again, for free. It goes to a couple mountains, ski mountains that we have in the southwestern part of that corner of that map, and then beyond into the northern parts of our region. The transit app is a really helpful app to download to be able to not only see when the next bus is coming, where to catch it, and where it leaves, but also to see in real time where the bus is to make sure you haven't missed it. So these are maps are taken from the transit system, and those little circle buses are actually the real-time location of buses. And then we have our own campus shuttle system that runs both on campus and then to one of our off-campus residential living units. There's 3 lines in total. They run about 15 to 30-minute loops. They're really great. Our campus really runs north-south, so it's a great way to quickly get across campus. They're hop-on, hop-off shuttles. No need to show student ID. And we do have a live bus tracking app called the CAPS Bus app, which you can find in your app store. So downloading the transit app and the CATS Bus app is really helpful to do so that when you come to campus, you're all set to go. Apologies for all of the information on this slide. I tried to keep the vital stuff to one slide, but UVM is a bicycle-friendly gold campus. It's a great place to ride bikes. We really do encourage it. Students really enjoy getting around by bike. It's a great way to get off campus and into the greater area. Burlington is a silver bike-friendly city as well. We have bike racks at every single residence hall and academic building on campus. Many residence halls have their own bike rooms. A good way to check and see if your residence hall has a bike room is on our campus map by clicking on transportation and then on bikes. Students are encouraged to register their bike before bringing it to campus. We recover bikes all the time, and the first place we look is Bike Index to be able to reunite it with their owner. So just Googling Bike Index is a great way to find it and register your bike. It's a national bike registration system, so you might already be registered in your hometown. But if not, we highly encourage registration before coming to campus. A lot of folks don't know that lights on bikes are mandatory in the city of Burlington and in the state of Vermont. So make sure that if you're bringing a bike to campus, you have lights in the front and the rear of your bike. Although helmets aren't required, we definitely highly encourage folks to wear helmets. And if you don't have a bike yet, we have a great bike rental option on campus. We have a student-led bike co-op that I'll tell you a little bit more about and how you would go about renting bikes from the co-op. Bike theft is an issue in Burlington, just like many other places in the US. So we recommend if you bring a bike to campus to either get a heavy chain lock or a U-lock. Cable locks are targeted for theft. They're very easy to cut, and we highly discourage that type of lock when you come to campus. We also encourage folks to learn how to properly lock their bikes. So never just locking a tire to a bike rack, but making sure that that frame is included when you're locking it in a bike rack. Cable locks are a great secondary lock, you know, to get your back wheel, for instance, but they should never be a primary lock for your bike. The QR code on this page is to take you to that Bike Index registration portal. So go ahead and check that out if you're planning on bringing a bike to campus. Another great resource, after talking to students and asking why folks were bringing cars to campus their sophomore year and beyond, the number one reason was to get home, but the number 2 reason was to get out into the great outdoors. Vermont's a beautiful place to explore, and we totally get that students are interested in doing that when they come up to UVM. So we had students create this guide called Into the Outdoors, and it features a lot of great natural areas within walking, biking, and busing distance to campus. It's also a great sort of guide to introduce students to our greater area and all of the activities and amenities, natural amenities that we have. The QR code will take you to the full guide. And if you catch us at any of our tabling events, you'll also be able to get a paper copy of that guide. But it includes the best places to bike in terms of where the infrastructure is for biking, where the flattest places to bike. We're on top of a hill, so that's always an important piece, and different locations of activities within a safe biking distance. Okay, so I mentioned that you can rent a bike when you come on campus. It's very popular. It is a first come, first served bike rental. This is through our student-run bike co-op called UVM Bikes. It's a very affordable $25 a semester. They're high-quality bikes. They come with a light, a lock, a helmet, and also unlimited repairs and tune-ups. The bike co-op also has a program where if you're bringing a bike to campus and you need to get it fixed up, They can teach you how to fix your bike. Labor is free. Parts are at cost. They also sell low-cost helmets and U-locks. So overall, a great resource, whether you bring a bike to campus or you're looking to get a bike on campus. It is located in the booth house behind the Waterman building. And I don't know if I mentioned to put your questions in the chat. Corey and I will get to them after the presentation, so please add them there if you think of any as we're going through this. Walking is also a wonderful way to get around UVM. It's actually the most popular way for on and off campus students to get to campus and around campus. It's a pleasant place to walk. The city of Burlington is a very walkable town. UVM has an app called CatSafe. You might have heard of it already, but I also like to show that there's a feature in it called Safe Walk, and that's a great way if you want to walk virtually with friends or family, or ride your bike virtually with friends or family. You invite them through the app, and then they can see where you are in real time and know that you made it to your destination. Okay. We are very fortunate as a small city, again, to have a lot of transportation resources. One popular resource for students is called CarShare Vermont, and that's a car sharing system that we have. It's about 21 vehicles in Burlington and the neighboring cities when you ski in South Burlington, but we have 3 of them on campus. And the way that this system works is if you do not bring a car to campus, we will subsidize your car share membership through the campus program. And that gives you access to these 21 vehicles, 3 that are on campus, but really any of the vehicles, whenever you might need a vehicle. So we see a lot of students carpooling to the mountains to use car share. We see grocery store runs using the car share vehicles. It just gives folks the flexibility to get a car when they need one. And unlike corporate car rentals, you only have to be 18 or older to be able to get a membership and access these vehicles. It's a round trip program. So you pick a vehicle up from a location, and that is the location that you would drop the vehicle off at the end of your trip. Okay. So CarShare is a great way also to get out of Burlington and do overnights. They have a daily rate as well as an hourly rate, but we have lots of long distance transit providers. And here's a map showing the network with the big circle in the top being the Burlington area and each color representing a different transit provider. We're lucky to have 2 Amtrak stations, the Ethan Allen, which connects Burlington down the Hudson River Valley to New York City, and the Vermonter line, which goes through Connecticut and down to DC. We have Megabus, which takes you to Boston. We have Greyhound, which will get you many places, including Montreal. We have Vermont Translines. That's a great way to get to Albany. And then we have a Breakliner called the Hometown Express. And it's called a Breakliner because it only runs before and after breaks, and it's only for students. And that particular Breakliner does leave from our campus. So it's a great service, and it will get you to New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and beyond. We do offer shuttle service, our CAT shuttle service, to each of these providers before breaks to make sure you get your connection home. And then we do provide pickup service to students who are returning by train, the Amtrak train station, which is easy for us to do because we have 1 train that comes in a day on each line. We also do provide security at our downtown transit center for any very late or early morning buses that students will take before and after breaks.
Oh, yeah.
So here's a map kind of highlighting the different locations of our long distance transit providers. You'll see University of Vermont is underlined. One of the Amtraks is right on the waterfront, and the other one is all the way to the right in the northern corner, and that's the Vermonter. You'll see we're also very close to the airport. We do have Green Mountain Transit bus service to the airport, and there's a small circle above Redstone campus, and that's where a brake liner picks up. In addition, we know that transit is not going to take every student where they want to go. Lots of students like to carpool to get home and to get out into further afield in Vermont. So we have a rideshare board that is managed by our eco reps. So it's a student managed, student run, student only rideshare board. It's a great way to connect with other students that are going home, or other students that are going to concerts. It's another way I've seen it used. But to join the rideshare board, you either just scan the QR code on the page that I'm showing you, or enter that Teams code right into the Teams chat and join that way. So when you're in the rideshare board, it's split up by region for both local trips, so more, daytime there and back trips, and then those longer distance trips. Okay, that's my part, and I'll turn it over to Corey to talk about parking.
Hi, everybody. So for those, most of you will wind up navigating a lot of the really great options that Abby has taken you through. I am going to talk a little bit about parking on campus with a vehicle. Generally speaking, first-year students that live on campus are restricted from having a permit. So there are a couple of options for permit waivers, and this is a really big question that we're getting a lot right now. The most popular type of waiver that we have is a first-year employment waiver. So that first bubble there will take you to our website, and it's essentially a form that you fill out. We need to verify that you are working a job that you cannot reach by bus, a job that provides you with a pay stub, and that you will have ongoing employment that is at least 10 hours weekly. Those permits are issued month to month, so just kind of be prepared that you're going to need to continually send us pay stubs so that we can verify that you're meeting that minimum. If you have an accommodation through SAS, Student Accessibility Services, there is a parking permit procedure for that. It's a little alliteration there. That form is on the slide there in the center. And then if you become injured or you have some sort of a temporary mobility issue, you will want to work with Student Health Services on that. And those are generally 4 to 6 week permits. When you become injured, it's helpful to know that you can also reach out to my team by calling or sending us an email and letting us know that you need a 1 week temporary ADA tag, and we can set you up with that. But I do recommend that when you reach out, you also reach out to SHS, because sometimes there's a little bit of a couple day turnaround time, and we cannot extend that 1 week. And then the key to successful parking, reading. I was going to insert a Reading Rainbow reference, but then my high school kid told me that that would date me, so I didn't, but now I'm telling you all. So I've included a couple of sign examples here. If you visited us in person, I'm sure that you've noticed that we have signs everywhere, and it's to keep you informed and to keep you from getting tickets. So I've included a couple of examples here. One is a park mobile sign, which will show you, it's the pay by app parking that's used in Burlington and South Burlington municipalities. You'll notice on this particular park mobile sign towards the bottom, it says visitor parking only. So that's one that does sting some students. On campus, most park mobile spaces will have their own sign. There are some shorter term park mobile spaces that are available for student parking, which is helpful to know. Those are generally 2 hours or less. And then the second version of a sign is that Macaulay lot sign. That's what you'll find at the entrance of all of our lots, and it will tell you what types of permits are accepted there. In this case, you'll see this is a very mixed lot with staff and students. And then it lets you know that it's restricted. Residential permits are restricted at all times. So if you are not holding a resident purple or a resident black permit, you have a resident red permit, do not park there ever, please. And then I've included a QR link to our interactive campus map, so you can kind of preview all of those signs and get the lay of the land ahead of time. We're not just here for permits, we're also here to help in case you have a dead battery or if you're locked out of your car. You can contact somebody 24/7 to help with that. During office hours, you're welcome to call our team and we'll get the dispatcher on it. One of our friendly parking enforcement officers, like the one in the photo there, will come over and help you. And outside of business hours, you can call Spillane's Towing. The information, it can be found at that QR code in the bubble in my photo there. As long as you're parked on campus, even if you're a visitor, this is free of charge. So make sure to mark that down, open a tab, keep it there for later. Unfortunately, the less fun part of our job is when there are tickets and even less, often towing. So if you happen to be the recipient of one of those envelopes under your windshield, do not ignore them. Do not let them pile up. If you are confused, please reach out. We're always happy to explain why a ticket may have been issued. And if you believe the ticket was issued in error or that you may have grounds for an appeal, there is an appeals process. Now, again, please do not ignore these. That appeals process is time sensitive. You have 14 days from ticket issuance to open an appeal. Generally speaking, are less egregious offenses. So you're not parking in an ADA space, or not taking an EV space, or blocking a roadway, but you just parked in the wrong lot. In all likelihood, your first ticket of that academic year will likely be a $0 warning. Call us when you get the warning if you're not sure why you've received it. If you do park in an ADA space or block a roadway, or if you've amassed a number of tickets, you may be subject to towing. And in those cases, you will need to visit either our office or after hours police services to pick up a release form to bring to the tow yard. I've included a couple of bubbles that give information on both of those. And just a heads up to all students and parents, parking information is covered under FERPA separately. So even if you are the SFS proxy, you will still need your student, or the student will need to fill out a form to waive the right to privacy. So just know that if you call us and we kind of stonewall you, it's not that we don't want to help, it's just that we're restricted with how much information we can release without a waiver. So once you have reached sophomore class standing, that means that you have at least 27.0 completed credits. You will be eligible to enter parking permit lotteries if you're living on campus, or if you're living off campus, you may be eligible to purchase a commuter permit. So generally speaking, we send about a month out from a permit lottery opening. We'll send an email to your student email address, and we'll also post something on our website. And we try to reach out multiple times just to make sure that folks don't miss the opportunity to enter a permit lottery. I will say that Resident Red does tend to be a hot ticket that sells out. We definitely have more demand than we have supply. So if you find yourself living in Resident Red zone, maybe have a plan B just in case you are unsuccessful in that lottery. Once you move off campus and you branch out into the big wide world, just know that there are two types of commuter permits. There is a commuter evening permit, which is for students that live in something we call the proximate zone, so close enough to campus that you can utilize all of the bus lines and things like that. And that restricts you from parking between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. So it's partial day parking if you live within that proximate zone. If you live further away, you would be eligible for a commuter brown permit, which allows for all-day parking in the Gutterson garage. All that information can be found at that bubble. I did the upspeak thing that I said I wouldn't do, but that's the end of my... And then if all else fails and you still have questions after this webinar and after we get through all the things, feel free to come visit us. I mean, we're here to help. We have candy, we have free maps, we have free bus schedules. Our office hours and location are listed there. And that photo is just outside of our front door. We're right on the first floor. And our website with all of the information that we've linked here is also at the bottom there. And I think we're good to open it up to questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Corey. I haven't been able to monitor the chat, but I see someone had a hand up. Feel free to raise your hand. We're happy to take questions that way as well. But I'll look at the chat, see if there's anything there.
I have a question, Abby.
Yes, please go ahead.
During the college move-in, that would be 19, 20, and 21, Do we need a special permit for us to be able to park our car?
You do not. There will be very helpful folks out in the field, and there will be signs everywhere directing you where to go. So on those days, we've planned ahead.
Yeah, so in general, right, Corey, the actual move-in days, people don't have to worry about parking permits or where they're parking on campus. They're sort of, as they enter campus, they're guided to the
They're
location that
guided
they need
through.
to know to go. Yeah.
Yes. So the idea when you move in, just so everyone has a heads up, you pull up, drop off your stuff, move your car, and then you go back and have all of the looking at the room. And, I have a senior, so I'll be crying, I'm sure, by that stage of the game. But yes, be prepared to kind of drop, move your car, and then come back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I see Dylan has a question. I know the mountain bike team, maybe it's the cycling team. The cycling team definitely has a trailer that they store their bikes. I'm not sure if that's the same thing as the mountain bike club team, but feel free to write your question to bikes@uvm.edu and I will get you an answer. Okay, so Grace had a similar question. To say. Okay, it sounds like she is storing her bike under the lofted bed, which you are not allowed to do in residential halls because of there's some fire issues with that. They really do want you to store them either in the shelters that are outside or in the bike rooms that are inside. I'll have to confirm whether that's true, and also the dorms that do not have. The exception might be the dorms that do not have either a shelter or an indoor bike room, but I know you can't have them in the hallways or the stairwells. They will get cut and impounded if they're in either of those locations. The next question was Valerie about how long the ride to Megabus. Megabus to Boston, it's pretty efficient. It's 4 hours versus the 3.5 that it takes to drive. So it's got very few stops between Burlington and Boston. So it's a very popular route. The Green Mountain Transit bus does not go directly to Killington. There are ways to get to the Mad River Valley, which is the Sugar Bush area and the Stowe area. The Vermont Transline bus will get you to Rutland. I think that's about as close as you can get, but there are shuttles that Killington provides. I just am not sure where in Rutland those shuttles pick up, but it's worth looking into. I always find going to the mountain website is a good way to find information on their shuttle, or using Google Maps and selecting the transit icon to figure out what those connections look like. The next question, is there transit provided to the Burlington airport? Okay, yes, there is. There is both. We will run shuttles there in the beginning of breaks, and there's also a bus, Green Mountain Transit bus that you can take that gets pretty close to the airport and is widely used. The fastest way to get from UVM to Westchester County, you can take the Breakliner. Our Breakliner Hometown Express stops in Westchester County. That's going to be the fastest, easiest way. Otherwise, you can take the Amtrak and stop on that line. I'm not sure exactly what stops it does, but it definitely makes a series of stops between Albany and New York City. What's the Teams code for looking for students to carpool with? The QR code didn't work. So there should have been a newsletter. Hopefully that's how you all learned about this, that went out with the links to all of these different resources. I can look if there's parking questions, or if Corey, you can look, we could drop that code, just the actual code into the chat.
Yep. Oh, someone did. I see GC Porter and Terry Unverified both had us covered. Thank you both.
Thank you. Are we able to find the bus shuttle schedule to and from the airport? Yes, the Thanksgiving shuttle schedule that we run when we run shuttles at the beginning of the break will go up in the next week or so on our CATS shuttle bus page. So that's where you'll see those times. And then if you want to check out the GMT bus schedule to the airport, just either download the transit app or go to the GMT Green Mountain Transit. You can Google their website. They have a trip planner on there, and you can put the starting dorm and the airport, and they will tell you which bus and what time. Great, there's the codes. Jean Mance, the closest CATS bus stop near Jean Mance is Waterman. So unfortunately, there's no stop in front of Jean Mance, but Waterman is a short walk to be able to get on. That's the Redstone Express line, or across the green, you can get on the Central Campus bus line. We are adding, that particular dorm has a lot of e-mobility devices that students use to get up to campus. So we are adding exterior outlets so folks can charge their devices at Jean Mance. The next question, during move-in, can we park anywhere? I guess we talked to Philemon about that. May said, is there transportation to and from the Morgan Horse Farm? Great question. We have a bike path that, oh, the Morgan Horse Farm.
Yep. So the
Yeah, Corey, go
Tri-Valley
ahead.
Transit bus actually takes you out to Middlebury. And I'm not sure that it drops exactly at the Morgan Horse Farm, but it gets you in that sort of vicinity. It's not, I run past there all the time because I live down in that area, and it's a free bus service for anyone, including all of us here. So that, like I said, I don't know that it gives you door side service, but it does get you pretty close to the Morgan Horse Farm.
And that is maybe a good use of that car share vehicle as well, especially
True.
if you have a couple of friends to share it with, to be able to get down to the farm. Terry asked, mountain bike storage for expensive bikes for the mountain bike club team, is there a special place? So there is a cycling team trailer that I know that they keep their bikes in, but again, I'm gonna have to double check if that's the same thing as the mountain bike team. Sorry. What are the times for the bike shop on campus? Okay, so the bike shop on campus will be, the hours haven't been confirmed yet, but definitely follow them on Instagram. That's how they use the best way they communicate with the UVM community on their open hours. They likely won't get posted until the week before school starts. But what will happen also on their Instagram is they will post their link and QR code when they're ready to take signups for the rental bikes. And the way that it works is you fill out an interest form, and then they will schedule a time for you to come in. And it's sort of like you'll get a block, and it's first come, first serve based on that schedule. Students, yes. So to get to the mountains, there is the Ski and Snowboard Club offers chartered buses to many, if not all, of the mountains. So most students sign up with the Ski and Snowboard Club, and that's also where you would get your discounted passes. So I know for sure they go to Jay, Bolton, Sugarbush, Stowe. Not sure about Killington. But that's a very popular and well-used option to get to the slopes. Otherwise, I have seen students use the car share vehicles. And if you're going during work hours, there's like a commuter line that you can take as well to, I think, Stowe and the Mad River Valley. My dorm does not include indoor bike storage available for its buildings. Am I able to use the nearby indoor bike storage located in a different dorm building? The outdoor bike shelter in front of Harris Millis is open to all of the students in living and learning. There are outlets in that shelter too if you have an e-bike. So that is the shelter that is accommodating living and learning. So really the only part of campus that doesn't have access to a bike room, because Marsh, Austin, Tupper share bike rooms, so they can get into the Marsh bike room. Is the Trinity campus. So the Macaulay, Mercy, Back 5 is an area of campus that is unfortunately underserved for weatherized bike parking, but they did get brand new exterior high quality U-racks installed outside Macaulay. That's open to anybody in Trinity, as well as there's covered bike parking in front of Macaulay. You'll see that when you enter the building. To get to the Albany airport, you can take either the Ethan Allen Express Amtrak, or you can take the Vermont Transline bus to the Albany Airport. Bike rental is first come, first serve, and it is done in person. The most efficient way, I would direct you to that long distance travel map. I believe to get to Portland, Maine, you either go through Concord or through Boston. But on the website that Corey provided, uvm.edu/transportation, you can click on the long distance transportation page and that will get you that information. You could also put it in Google Maps and click that little transit. Instead of it defaults sometimes in the car and there's walking and biking symbols, there's a little transit symbol. Is a good way to find connections there. The rental interest form posted is active now, but dated 2023. It's okay if you fill out the 2023 form. We just haven't updated it, but it all goes to the same inbox of the UVM Bike Co-op. So feel free to use it, but we'll have the updated one up there shortly. And then recommendations on how to travel to Montreal. Okay, so Montreal can be a really inexpensive way to get a flight, and it's very popular. So I see a lot of the carpool ride board chatter about carpooling to the Montreal airport. Greyhound is the bus service that also provides trips up to Montreal that can get you to the airport. But often what I see is upperclassmen who have cars in the area are willing to drive other folks, and then they share the parking costs. So that's a great option. So for the living and learning dorm, because those buildings do not have indoor bike parking, all students in those dorms have CAT card access to the exterior bike shelter in front of Harris Millis, which is very close. So that bike shelter is open to you. It's a fully enclosed shelter that has a CAT card reader in it. Of course, we still ask you to lock your bikes inside the shelter. And it also is outfitted with outlets. If you have an e-mobility device, that's the preferred place to park that because they are banned in all residential buildings, both for storage and for charging. So that looks like we are at the end of the chat list. We'll hang out if anybody wants to come off mute and ask any additional questions, or feel free to enter them on the chat. Parking at uvm.edu is a great way to reach Corey and the parking team, and bikes at uvm.edu is a great way to reach me and all things sustainable transportation. Our bike shelters first come, first serve. Yeah, both bike shelters and bike rooms, all bike parking on campus is first come, first serve. Fortunately, we've never had a situation where a student has tried to get a bike in a bike shelter or a bike room and not been able to get it. So I know there's some anxiety about getting a spot, but we haven't run into that, fortunately. And we're continuing to build our weatherized bike resources on campus. When will this be posted to review? That's a great question. It's recorded, so it will be sent to the folks who organize these sessions tonight. And I would imagine it probably would be up within a week. So definitely feel free to share this with anybody who wasn't able to attend today. We'll give a couple more minutes in case there's any stragglers or any last minute thoughts. Corey, we did record time. No
We
need for
did
the whole
so
hour.
well. Yes.
Can electric skateboards be stored in the bike rooms? Great question. All electric devices, whether it's a one-wheel, skateboard, electric bike, electric scooter, they all are not allowed to be stored in any residential. They can't be stored actually in any residential or academic building. The only place that they're allowed to be stored on campus is exterior bike shelters and exterior bike racks. We are adding exterior outlets to be able to charge, but but at this moment when the fire regulation just is very unclear about how to provide safe charging opportunities, they are banned from the dorms. So fortunately, we are on top of a hill and it's very flat to move around campus. There's a bit of a hill if you want to go into Burlington or the neighboring jurisdictions, but all of the Green Mountain Transit buses that are free to ride have bike racks on front. So it's a great option if you don't have an electric mobility device, is to go ahead and throw your bike on the front of a bus to get back up the hill. Okay. Well, again, I will encourage you all to go to uvm.edu/transportation for all of this information plus more. And always feel free to reach out to Corey or I. It's just our first last name at uvm.edu or parking@uvm.edu and bikes@uvm.edu. So really appreciate everybody joining us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you at the end of the month.
Yes, see you there. We'll have prizes.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.